Hey, welcome back to the Dreamer's Journey. I'm your host, Jeff Weeks, and today we get to have a conversation with my friend Uli. Uli and I go way back in the fire service, but what's more interesting is his story now and the things that he's overcoming currently as well as pursuing. So Uli's doing some amazing things, and I'll let him speak for himself as we jump into the episode.
The mustache and the no hair throws me off. I need golden locks, Glendale. I need Glendale. Jeff.
I can't do it.
I'm just going to call you Glendale. All right. So I don't want to waste your time.
Okay. So welcome back to the Dreamer's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Weeks. It's really hard to do this with, you're just grinning with me.
Why?
I'm with my dear friend, Uli.
How you doing, Jeff?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on and doing this with me. You are the podcast radio host expert. So I hope to...
Not true in the least, but I'm very honored and grateful to be here, man. First of all, we could spend 7 hours just talking off mic, so...
Yes.
I hope we haven't spent all the fuel.
Well, yeah, this is the second interview, second conversation.
Second part of the day.
Yep.
No, I'm stoked. I love the idea of what you're doing here. I think that there is a need for people to hear other people's stories, which was kind of the genesis of my whole show. I think everyone has a story to tell, and I like that you've taken that and gone further, like dreams and journeys.
Sure. Thank you.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun, and, a good portion of what I'm doing as well, because, as you know, I got probably 7 maybe firefighters that are going to listen to my podcast, which is great. I appreciate those 7 people. But this is really helping me hone my interviewing skills as well for documentary work.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what, just being comfortable having a conversation, working on not saying and like and, all those filler words that I just can't stop saying, And so this is definitely a work in progress for me to work on interviewing skills and talking a little bit better.
So I'm a plaything for you.
No.
Boy, this is just like our relationship in the fire service.
Golly. You just had to bring it. What fire stories you got for us? You got anything? Let's start with some fun.
Some fun. I think my first, just for this show, my first interaction with you was when you also had shaved your head. We were on different shifts at Station 1, and I was a lieutenant, and you were a firefighter, and I couldn't find my boots when I came on duty. And I thought, okay, well, it's prank time, right? Somebody's messing with me. I'm the new lieutenant. And I couldn't find them anywhere, and you had them. I guess you just decided you needed them.
It was your pants. It was your
pants and boots.
Backup turnout pants.
Yeah. And I approached you. I'm like, hey, man, did you take my stuff? And you didn't even, crack a smile. You're like, yeah. Kind of looked at me like, I took your lunch money too, B. And I was like, man, this guy's full of himself, but okay. And then later on, when I made station captain, you were down at Station 10. You were a firefighter down there.
Yeah.
And Adam Carter was the driver. And Nate Waltz.
He later joined us.
Oh, was he? Was it just the 3 of us at first?
I think so.
I think did we not have another firefighter down there with us?
Mm-mm.
Was it just you, me, and Carter?
Yep.
Wow. But within I went to Station 10 on an administrative error. Because the chief said, welcome back to the water rescue team. I'd never been on the water rescue team. And now they made me the leader of the water rescue team.
Right.
Terrible idea.
That was fun.
I love water-based stuff. I believe that sounds worse than it should. But anyway, yeah.
Water-based.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice podcast.
It dissolves better.
Anyway, yeah. So he said, if you could just stick it out a pay period or 2, we'll get you to I think I was going to go to 3s. And, in that time period, you and Adam worked me over a rented mule. Just stay down here. It's fun. It's better than you think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Adam went on to become a rescue guy, which was a mixed blessing. He was amazingly funny to work with, but terrifying.
Absolutely.
The way he drove that ladder truck like he stole it.
Right. And
down
he was paranoid.
Oh, yeah. Watching him chop vegetables, one of my favorite things. He had the energy of a meth head on a diabetic bender, right? He really... And, of course, he was convinced that the chief was always hiding out in the bushes, watching him. Yeah. He was
truck.
But he was a fantastic... he knew his job.
Yeah. And we had so much fun.
Oh, my God. And then we got Nate, who replaced him.
Right.
Well, Nate was a firefighter, so we got our neurotic Phil, and I was like, oh, man, we got to get a driver. And Nate, for everything else we can say, he sweet-talked the most senior engineer on the department to come drive for us, and it was a great balance, and we had a great time. In fact, to this day, I still tell the story, and I'm not trying to bother too much time here, but when the four of us were together, it's one of the most fun assignments I had in 23 years. We played foosball, ping pong, whatever. And then to cap it off, when Brad retired, the four of us went to a Blues game.
Yes.
And we got to go to the alumni suite and watch. But even his last shift was, we all cried.
Yes.
When he left. Because most people are like, okay, thanks for the cake. And then they're like, I'll never see you again.
Right.
Dude, I can still in my mind's eye see him walking down that hallway the last time.
Yeah,
oh, dude,
back towards the office.
Yeah.
Nobody goes out that way.
Nobody goes out that way.
Seared in my memory, too.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't want to quit. There was kind of the terms of a settlement he'd come to. I mean, he had way more time than he needed, but he just loved being.
Yeah, he still did a truck check.
And on his very last day.
With Nate.
Yeah. And what's funny is, I can say it now because what are they going to do? Take away my birthday? They might. But he's like, hey, do you mind if it's my family's last day? I can't imagine in today's age. I was like, F yes, Brad. Like, you have earned this. I'll take the ass eating if, like, they get mad at me. You take your family, go out for a spin. Let's take it out of service because why not honor that guy's 28 years? Don't be such a weirdo about things, right? So, anyway, that was our time together. And then, I know you're going to bring this up. I had a chance to go somewhere.
The great betrayal. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Oh, God. So
I'm glad you did.
Well, in a really ironic twist, I've been gone from the service for a couple of years now, and now you're a captain, and you're at Station 10. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how long you last down there.
I'm committed.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Super committed.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, you're quite good at the manipulation of the spoken word. So, but yeah, no, it's just those are the things, all those cliches and tropes you hear. You miss the clowns, not the circus, all that. It really takes a while to unwind from the fire service, and it has been difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's been really difficult.
Sure. A lot of identity tied up in.
Yeah, somebody expected you every third day.
Yeah.
And
a lot of love. I know that guys aren't okay with the love word very much.
Yeah.
But you do go to a place where you do love the people you work with most of the time, and likewise are that's reciprocated.
Yeah.
And not every job is like that.
No.
And so for us all of our families know each other, and there's times of you, and I remember when you and Brad got all the pots and pans out and let Opal, when she was 2 or 3, play drums on them, just to, Kaylee's just like, you guys are creating a monster, but that's part of the fun. Yeah.
Having your kids get raised in the firehouse is something. And my boys, it's interesting because now they're 22 and 20, and they, I think they say a lot more things behind my back than they ever would to me, but like they were really proud that I was a fireman. Now I have a radio gig, and every once in a while my oldest will be like, yeah, I heard you play, Gin Blossoms. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, so you are listening? He's like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and I experienced something. I mean, I talked about that. You did that. I still show that video you did of me leaving on a mental health scenario, which is, has been, I showed that video actually to someone a week ago, and we were both bawling at the end. You did a great job. You're an amazing filmmaker, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I mean, that took courage to do, and I remember showing it to you for the first time. I didn't just send it to you. I came back to your house.
You did.
And wanted to make sure that it was going to sit okay, and that I was doing right by you.
I'm getting chills right now. I still have those kids' names and stuff on a Post-it on my wall. Because again, I think it's important to never forget, that it's so easy. The passage of time can really, which is a blessing and a curse, right? The passage of time helps ease the pain. Otherwise, if I was as sad as the day my dad died every day, it'd be awful.
Right.
But it took me months to drive down that street. And for the listeners who are there, we had a fatality fire about 6:30 in the morning on July of 2023. Yeah. Was it 23? I should have it seared in my mind. Anyway, it just took me a while, and we had I had a lockup, and it really fed into my notion that we all have a finite capacity for trauma. And it was just like, my brain was just like, this is it, you're done. And the amount of work it took to go from, come on, dude, I'm not leaving the fire station. I might have to end my career at a real slow station to going, and you're never riding a fire engine again. That's a weird one. That will mess with you. I can tell you though, the sleep's nice.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, you recognize, even like, have you picked up on this? When you go on vacation or if you're like gone for a while, you come back, it almost feels like you got to refit back in.
Yeah, there's an element of that.
Because they've been doing things while you're gone.
Right.
They've been on calls together.
It didn't stop. Yeah.
The
might
machine,
be a new inside joke that you're like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bertha. Yeah, we
right.
move
yeah.
her again.
Which is a way of bonding, right? Trauma bonding, but bonding. Like
Sure.
when you go into a scenario with somebody, and it's one of the things I talk about a lot if I'm doing stuff at school, is you don't realize the amount of trust that was put upon us. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun to joke about all the sex toys mounted to the walls and, you're
right.
like, what?
Funny stories.
Right. But those people allow you something that once it's gone, I can't go into anyone's house and be like, hey, I'm going in your bedroom now.
Right.
Well, I mean,
you
can find me there, but they're not. I can't ask for it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not I'm going to go check your smoke alarms and,
Yeah, and so that's sort of, I mean, and it's also, I never wanted to be the guy that the retirees that I saw, especially on social media, it's like, I retired at the City of Springfield Fire Department, Captain 2B, you know what I mean? It's
right.
like, but if somebody talks to me, so what's your story? How'd you end up here? And I'm like, well, I retired. First thing I say, I retired from Springfield Fire Department. And they're like, what?
Sure.
What are you doing in there? And I think it was a career to be proud of. And, but I don't know. I mean, I know this is part of your the zeitgeist here is to, how do we end up where we ended up? Because this was a stop for me. This was not,
right.
This is not 25 years later, still in this town.
Yeah.
And radio.
Right.
So,
you do have a bit of a story of even becoming a firefighter. So not to, I want to focus more on the future and where you're going, but to use like a slingshot analogy, I think to pull back and look at the past, let it rip. And then, I think we're compelled by what's happening in the future, but knowing a couple of pieces from the past really helps.
Sure.
That.
Yeah. Not a problem. So what kid doesn't want to be a firefighter? Right. I remember very well the fire engine showing up in like kindergarten, first grade, and I'm like, those guys are riding on back. That's so cool. The only people cooler than them were garbage men, right? But
aspirations.
Yeah, absolutely. I was born and raised in Santa Barbara, but my folks moved up to a little town called Cayucos on the central coast of California, small town, and my family's in heavy excavating, so I grew up running all sorts of heavy equipment. And one of the outfits that I worked for, and then later on my college roommates, they would lease dozers and stuff on these wildfires in California. At the time, it was called CDF, but now it's Cal Fire.
Okay.
And that was like, you went from $12 an hour to $44 an hour. Like that's high cotton. And, I didn't get to do near as much of it as I wanted to because, low guy on the pole. But, worked a couple of different fire campaigns, really liked it. And then our little town had a volunteer fire department. And it was like, I joke, it was so small, like, the town bar would empty when the pagers went off, right?
Okay. Yeah, the pagers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I learned CPR from a lady who was chain smoking in the engine bay.
Nice.
Yeah. And she's like, go ahead, put your mouth on there. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Anyhow, then when I got out of college, I moved to Alaska, just sort of, if I was running heavy equipment and stuff, I'm like, if I can do this anywhere. And so I went up there, joined their volunteer fire department, went from 20 people to 100 people, and it was a paid call department.
All right.
And they didn't do medicals, and I just remember I still have a paper log of brush fire, blah, 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 blah. And I was so thrilled.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting a job on the oil rigs up there, so I worked up there for a while. Great money, horrible work. And the person who was my girlfriend and then my first wife, like I collect them, she was from Missouri, and she said she wanted to move back. And so I said, well, if I can find a full-time fire department job, and she was up in Kirksville, northeast Missouri. And I'll never forget the guy. I went and, walked into the fire station on a visit back to see her family. And the guy's like, I've been here 25 years and I make $25,000. F this place, blah, blah, blah. you need to go to Springfield. So the first time I'd ever heard of Springfield was on a dial-up computer in 99.
Gotcha.
And I applied long distance.
And that guy saved your life.
He did. I mean, I don't want to say I wish I'd made different choices because of the people who were in my life and where I am. But, man, I should have gone with, like, Casey or something.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
But to me, Springfield's as big a city as I'd ever lived in.
Okay.
And so I got on, went through the academy, got divorced in the academy, and thought, okay, well, I'll give this place a year. I took out applications at, like, Portland, Seattle, Anchorage. Well, I, started the process. And in that time, I met my boy's mom. And so we were married 10 years. Then you're into the system.
Sure. Yeah, you're committed.
Yeah, and I really liked being a firefighter. Like it was cool. It was the coolest job, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You're like, what do you do? I mean, you have the best intro to anything,
right?
But I didn't realize that there is also a price you pay, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I always wanted to be a fighter pilot. I imagine most fighter pilots you talk to are like, after a while. So I have to be very careful. I tend to romanticize things, which is how I've tried like 1,000 jobs.
Sure. They just all seem like the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's the oil rigs in Alaska.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that led to 23 years on Springfield. Retired at the rank of captain at Station 7 on East Sunshine right before they tore it down and built this new, very sterile structure. Mm. I like the old stinky stuff.
The old Sevens was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Old Fours needed to go, but old Sevens.
Well, old Fours, you literally got like immediate onset cancer when you walked in. Yeah, that place was. For perspective, the water was so bad there. The city bought bottled water for the firefighters,
right? And
the city wouldn't spend a dime. It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's sort of the broad strokes. And then I got through a lot of therapy and counseling, which we can talk on that stuff. After that fire and after everything else, again, I was the product of a lot of stereotypes in the fire service, and I just wanted to do something different. Even conversations I'd had with you and other firefighters, I was really scared. I liken it a little bit to perhaps how somebody who's a gay person comes out, where you're like, oh, I'm afraid everyone's going to hate me. For me to be able to say, I am leaving the fire service because my mental health cannot take it anymore, and I'm not right. I really thought I was going to get just stomped, like you're such a, and I was shocked at the level of support.
Yeah. A lot of people I agree with you. Although I'm empathetic to you, I would expect those kind of reactions as well.
Yeah. And it's gotten to the point where I helped talk a guy that we've both worked with he was having a panic attack in a Walmart in Florida. And he calls me and he's like, hey man, I don't know. And that really spoke to me, but it was a way to continue to serve. And so if I could help my fellow brothers and sisters, I'm like, this is something I kind of want to look into.
Yeah. And
one of the therapists I'd seen said, have you thought about doing this yourself? I'm like, oh, come on. I'm a BS artist. Yeah. He's like, no, you speak the language. You've been in it for so long. And so that sort of led to it. Vocational rehab has been helping to pay for my graduate degree, which is amazing. I had to present to them what I wanted to do, a pitch. Mm-hmm. They thought, well, are you going to just re-traumatize yourself every time you talk to other firefighters? And I'm like, no, it helps actually. It's because of that, the kitchen table conversations.
Right.
We can paralysis by analysis, baby.
Yeah.
And so I'm now in my third semester, getting my graduate degree in clinical mental health counseling.
Gotcha. How much school's left?
Depends how long I drag it out.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping to be done by next spring, maybe fall.
It's not so horrible from where I'm sitting. I'm sure it's different for you.
It's not that bad at all, but graduate school's tough, man. I haven't been to school since the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. The teacher's like, no, there's a lot of stuff on AI, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, listen, my papers are terrible. That's all me. If they're good, it's also me. I don't know how to use this AI.
Sure.
What is this? I mean, I'm sitting next to a bunch of typewriters. I feel much more at home with these typewriters.
There you go. That's right. I'm a bit of a typewriter enthusiast right now.
A typophile.
Oh, sure.
So anyway, it's just been, you asked me on the way up here in our little pre-conversation, how it's going. I'm being very candid with you. I'm very burnt out. The radio station job, the part-time job, is very, this as a filmmaker, mm-hmm. The creative process is way more taxing than we think.
Right. Yeah, you have to use like a different a different part of your brain, maybe not a different part, but like a different energy level.
Yeah.
Right. So we recently had a leadership conference thing for the city disaster thing, but the speakers were from Harvard, and they likened, your brain to three different levels. So they call it going to the basement whenever you hit rock bottom, and you're in this kind of, when you're spinning, you're kind of in this fight or flight, like nasty, and you got to get yourself out of that. And usually that's by taking a moment or really processing or something. But they compared the other two, like, just a workstation, a work mind, of like, that's kind of where you're mindlessly working and you're not really using too much brain power. And then when you go to that creative mode, you're burning calories at a level that you can't even sustain because your brain is working so hard. And that's kind of what you're talking about, that creative side. Man, when we're done with an editing session of like a couple hours, you can ask my wife, I am fried. Like, I am done. Like, I'm ready for bed. I usually sleep super good that night, but it's just because you're on. You have to be on a peak level. And that creative, I can't imagine trying to sustain that at the radio the whole time.
Yeah, it's been sorry about that.
No, I think it's me.
Yeah, it's been challenging. So just kind of a follow up from there. It was at my 50th birthday. If we're going to be just 100%, like, I believe in transparency. So I was turning 50 a year ago, June, and May, and my parents were out visiting, which I love them very much. I love the 1,800-mile buffer even more. I love them so much, but they're at the stage where, like, I'm beginning to parent them more than anything. But they were visiting, and I was on some enforced sobriety. I had gotten, like I said, I had all the classic firefighter syndromes. I joined CrossFit. I got a DWI. I've had an affair. Like, you name it. I have made choices that, of course, in hindsight, you're like, what an idiot. But at the time, you're like, we're just constantly messing up. And then how can we do better? So I get this phone call, and it's from a guy named Mike Holmes, who's if you're local, you know him as Mike the Intern on 104.7 The Cave. But he's also the program and content director for 4 stations. And he calls me up. He'd been on my podcast once or twice.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, bud, how's it going? Well, he's not Tim Gerke. But anyway, sorry, Mike. But anyway, I said, oh, not bad. How you doing? He's like, I'm doing good. Good to talk to you. I'm like, it's great to talk to you. Like, we're friends, but we're not, let's chat on the phone friends. Yeah. And I said, what's up? He goes, well, I've got this wild idea. I'm taking over programming for Q102, which is now Q92.9. And we're trying to bring somebody who has a local flavor, fresh take on things. I've got people who want this job. I'm going out of the box, and I think you might be a good fit for it. And I said, well, I got to think about it. First of all, school kind of comes first because I'm getting that paid for.
Right.
My kids. If Stevie Nicks calls, I need to make sure I've got room to leave.
Priorities.
And after that, I have some time. And it took me about 10 seconds. I'm like, yeah. Now, anybody that's worked in radio knows it is not about the pay. But it is. So now I have a show 10 to 3 weekdays. And then also I'm just about to move back to nothing but 90s on Saturdays.
Okay.
And you're right. I have these breaks, but I didn't want to do, all right, that's Soundgarden, here's Tool, right? And so I try to scour stuff and make it funny and relatable.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful to be a part of the team. Our radio station got Missouri Broadcasters Association Mid-Size Radio Station of the Year.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It was on the chopping block, and Mike brought it back, and I'm lucky to be a part of that team. But it is. I come back from that or from clinicals, and I'm smoked. I want to watch Blacklist and like just.
We got into that show for a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm late to the
Spader.
game. He's so good.
So good.
So good.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I'm here for it. But that's sort of kind of an up to speed. So I'm most of the way through my grad program. I'm doing this radio program. My kids have flown the coop, and so here's the other thing. You were talking about you're on the cusp of some pretty big, exciting stuff here. So somehow our radio station carries the Lex and Terry show, which is a nationally syndicated radio show. And so I talked to them because of our shows butting up to one another. They come to town once a year. Great guys. And I was like basically kind of their gopher when they would come to town and go get them at the airport.
Yeah.
Well, somehow I just really vibed with Terry. I vibed with all of them. They're great. But Terry's like, you've done improv before, haven't you? I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. And so anyway, he's a really huge supporter of everyone just trying things. And so one night I'm watching one of his podcasts, and I said, yeah, man, you sound great, da-da-da. He goes, I'm having trouble like with this. Do you want to be a guest right now? And I said, sure. So he shoots me a link. I'm on there with him and the character known as Taint. His name's Tyler.
Okay.
So Terry's in Seattle. Taint. So weird to say that because he like works on drones and travels the world.
Awesome.
But goes by Taint.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's an old surfer. And I'm in Springfield. And then I guested again and we just really riffed. And then they reached out and said, we'd like you to be a full-time part of this. So we have a weekly webcast, I guess is the right word for it. And it has somehow got the attention of like people at iHeart. I don't know why.
Nice.
So it's getting traction.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is that organic piece.
Yeah. The chaos, right?
Yeah, the Chaos podcast, yeah, or Chaos show. And so, yeah, now that's a weekly video show. Again, I'm the one that tries to, like, as you were talking about editing, for some reason I'm in charge of the actual technical side of it.
Oh.
Because I volunteered. I'm like, guys, I'm just so happy to be part of it. I'll do all this.
Right.
And we have a lot of people who are offering to sponsor and this and that, and we have some sponsorships. But I don't know how to play this game right. I just feel like I need like a social media man, like
Yeah.
which you can probably relate to. I'm like,
yeah.
what am I doing, dude? I'm swimming with one arm.
Right. I'm about to wear a bunch of hats.
Yeah,
You're wearing a bunch of hats. Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to do all the stuff.
yeah. So it's a bit of a triple play, right?
Cool.
You know what the cost of that is? I now sleep like 10 hours a night.
Sure.
Which new parents, I'm sorry, but I don't love it. I like wake up, I'm just like, what? I feel like I got hit by a bus almost every day.
Yeah.
So
That's exciting stuff, though.
It is. It is.
The sacrifice.
I need to make sure I have an attitude of gratitude. Sitting here with you right now is really helping with that.
Oh,
actually.
thanks. I
No.
tend to bring out the best in people.
Okay. There's the Jeff
There
I know.
it is.
There it is. We knew it wouldn't take long. Let me see how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You made it longer than I thought.
Okay, so you have your podcast.
I have my own
You have
podcast,
the Chaos Show.
the Chaos Show.
Podcast, and then you're radio host
Yep.
extraordinaire,
Uh,
as well as going to school full time.
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
Yeah, I guess it's.
So what's next? When you look 6 months, or let's call it a year down the road,
Right.
and you're done with school,
Right.
then where do you want to be? What's success look like?
Ooh, I love this. When I went into the counseling side of schooling, my exclusive goal was to go back and work with other firefighters, right? And I'd still love, like when I come and talk to you, it feels home. It feels like home. I talk to guys that I work with or have worked with. So that hasn't been discounted. Originally, I'd hoped, man, I'd love to go work with the IFF, our union,
Yeah.
to set up the peer counseling programs around the country because you get to travel.
Right.
My favorite part of the fire service, I don't give a shit about the fires for my mouth. I don't give a rip about the fires. I like the firehouse. I like the culture. I like, hey, what is your pay like? Like, do you guys get individual bedrooms? That's the stuff that's always interested
Yeah.
me. Fire's fire. I mean, it's work.
Sure.
It's like, and so
It's fun.
it's fun. I loved it, but I don't get the charge out of talking about.
Don't
like,
need that anymore. Not the full been there, done that, but
yeah,
at least
it's just like I'm more interested in the human component,
sure.
the soft skills. So that was the original hope. But man, as I'm going through this program and as I'm getting distance from the fire service, I've actually got a couple of job offers. Oddly, they're like, hey, when you're done, let me know. There's
wow.
way more demand than supply.
Okay.
Because people need help.
Right.
People need help. And not to get political or anything, but in some of the jabs with my former fire service friends, they're like, well, how's your little counselor training going? I'm like, there's going to be a lot of deprogramming needed in a few years, so I'll be here for you.
Absolutely.
But I think, like I said, I was talking about couples counseling and stuff like that. Again, as somebody who's not, I'm such a pro at marriage. I've done it twice. But no, but I just think that living an authentic life has to be informed by honest communication. And so I'm more leaning towards that kind of counseling. I don't want to be a full-time. There's way more work than you could do, but I don't want to do that, man. I retired from a career.
Right.
I want to be able to work a couple times a week,
Yeah. Help some people out.
Yeah, but so success would be, I mean, the radio station's great, and I'm so grateful for them. Like I am loyal to them to the end, beyond Ronnie Powell. And
Oh wow.
yeah, but I mean, I've talked to Terry about it. I mean, if we were able to take this show and make it he really, as somebody who's been in the business for 35 years, he's like, this is the one that has horsepower.
Gotcha.
So I'm hoping
That's encouraging.
It really is.
I would think he has offers to do stuff like that all the time.
The dude has flown. I think he's the only civilian that has flown with the Blue Angels twice.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We rode a golf cart at the mental health golf clinic.
That's right.
This dude rode with the Blue Angels, right? So, and not that, but like, I have to be careful if I talk about like this person. I made some reference to Danny Bonaducci, which I don't even remember him.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, Danny's a great guy, man. He used to come by the studio. I'm like, I keep forgetting, if you reference famous people, I was talking about my crush on Stevie Nicks, and he's on air, he's talking about how Stevie Nicks brushed his leg under the table and he thought she was hitting on him. I mean, these are stories that are just unbelievable.
Wow.
Can I give you a hint as to what we're thinking about trying to do?
I would love that. Right here.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can go to space camp together.
Oh, jeez.
Adults that get to go to space camp.
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That's like your dream.
I wanted to go to space camp.
What?
It was his taint.
All right.
Of course, he's down there in Florida working on. He says he's working on like drones that help with marine research, but he's always in these Middle Eastern countries. So we're always like, where in the world's taint?
Right.
Like, and he's broadcasting from Jordan and UAE. So it's wild.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, but you were talking about the creative side. Like, I try to come up with, okay, guys, for good content for an hour show, what do we talk about? Like, you and I are just riffing and catching up, and I hope this isn't too boring for you.
No, I love this.
But trying to find something not only that keeps me, because if I'm not entertained, you won't be entertained.
Right.
But I want to talk about things that you'd be like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I still will never forget, and I've used this analogy. You told me, I'm like, when you worked on your first documentary, and I'm just like, my eyes were like, you peeled my wig right back. I was blown away. And I'm like, what the F have you done? And you're like, I'm Jeff Weeks. Everything I touch turns to gold.
I just say blah, blah,
blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, I'm like, how did you get there? And you're like, surprisingly, check me on my numbers. But I remember we said, yeah, we got from like Springfield to, was it Poland you went to? For like $700.
No, that's right.
And I'm like, what? Who would have thought you can't get from Springfield to Joplin for under $500? Right? And somehow you and Eli made this amazing, and it was very inspiring. I'm going to tell you that.
Thanks.
Like, I think about you guys a lot and the work you're doing. I follow your stuff. I'm going to go to this, the thing coming up. It's amazing, man. And the courage for like you guys to follow through on these passions is very inspiring, because I don't know if you experienced this in the fire service. Because I had an excavating business when I was in the fire service. I did real estate. Everyone has like 5 jobs.
Right.
But the moment you seem to be doing well, there's always going to be a contingent of people that are like, who do you think you are?
Right. Yeah. A lot of naysayers. Yeah. Especially, I mean, I've been talked to a lot.
Have you?
A lot of, oh yeah. It's always what are you doing? Don't you know you have a family? Turns out I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty aware of that.
I have a family. I do know the risk that I'm taking. And
thank you for the reminder. My God.
It's like, I don't expect everyone to, just be super supportive all the time. And that being said, there's so many people rooting for us.
Yeah.
And I don't discount that at all. Most of my friends are very, very supportive.
Yeah, you had a great turnouts at the showings. The last one I went to from firefighters and stuff. But
so I and now we're 4 years in, so the proof of concept's there. These films weren't just a
lark
iPhone. Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of like, there's some attention. There's some it's changed from the like, you guys are idiots dreaming, to more like, hey, I know those guys. My friend went to Ukraine too. Yeah. Which has been really cool.
Yeah, I get that. You know what I get, the double-edged sword I get on that now? You're on the radio. Is that even a thing anymore? Right? I get that all the time, right? Which is fine. Or I don't listen. People, they start out, I don't listen to the radio. Or I don't listen to your show. I'm like, good, I wouldn't. I don't like the sound of my voice. Half the songs we play are Kill My Landlord music. And it's like, but then within like moments, that same person will go somewhere and they're like, oh, this is Uli. He's on the radio.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, super proud of him.
What? Wait a minute. Moments ago, you're like, you told me, what idiot listens to radio? Like, nobody likes ads. I get that. Here's the thing that has here's the thing that the thrust that I kind of lean on is that, and I have Spotify. We all have Spotify. Nobody, like, who wants to, ads suck. They suck. I'm sorry. I know it's what sells radio. And if the salesman for our department hears this, I'm sorry. But there are very few that stand out, catch your eye, and make you go, that's really great, right? Most ads are a necessary evil.
Right.
But even on Spotify, unless you're paying, you're getting ads. And now it just sounds like it's a very gentrified or just this homogenous. You want to listen to Ryan Seacrest all day or Bobby Bones, that's all you're going to get. And why Mike hired me, and hopefully the connection piece I'm having is, I'm talking about like when the new Chipotle opened, or congrats to the Catholic high school, soccer team or something, so that people can tune in and be like, oh man, that stuff's happening in our town. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's happening in our town. And I think we need that, especially in these divisive times. You need someone. We have a concert coming up I don't know how this is going to get dated, but Friday the 14th of the month. It's a benefit concert for Ozarks Food Harvest. It's called Rock Out With Your Cans Out.
Yeah.
The price of admission is 6 canned food items. That's it, or $5.
6 cans.
Yeah, and it's 4 nationally touring bands at the Regency here in town. If you bring 25 cans, you get a meet and greet. It's just
cool.
Yeah, and we're also doing an RIP Q102 because, as I mentioned earlier, we were on Q102. Now we're Q92.9. It's a wattage thing.
Okay.
All kinds of power.
All right.
Yeah, that's a long story, but anyway, so we have all this old Q102 swag. We're selling every bit of it for $1 a piece, and then all that goes to Ozark Food Harvest.
Oh, that's great.
So you talk about in these times, especially in the political climate, and people are needing community more than ever. And that gives me that same sense that we got out of the fire service. And that really does fill that hole for me. It's like, yeah, it's just me talking into a mic, but man, I hope, and people show up, dude. It's amazing when we do stuff like this. They're like, hey, dude, I heard you. I was in blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool.
Right.
Like, thank you for helping. And I think people want to feel community, whether, I know for some folks it's within their faith and all this stuff. For me, it's in music.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's great. I love that. That seems to be the base for, your radio host. Like, it's not just, oh, look at me, I'm on the radio, but having this greater purpose, and that's a lot of what feeds this. The dreamer's journey is like, what is your greater purpose?
Yeah.
What are you called to do? What do you feel led to do? Stuff like that. No, I'm freaking you out with the religious terms, but thank you.
I am starting a cult soon if you want to join.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we could probably use your expertise. We need a documentarian.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd be interested.
Okay. We can talk off air about that. No, I just think that and again, we joke about it with one another, but I think at the end of the day, like, what would you want your impact to be on people? And I think like what you're doing with the documentary stuff is amazing, and not because I'm just trying to blow sunshine up your backside or anything, or because I feel like I brought you into this world of all this, but just kidding. No, but it's like, but it's like, you're doing something much greater than yourself, and you have this lovely family that seems to be very supportive, which is great. I know it's very essential, but you're doing something bigger than yourself, and that for me garners respect because it shows who you are as a person. When we see selfish behavior, and it's so easy to see these days, you really, the people who are selfless kind of shine like a beacon. So I think that's great. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. Even, it wouldn't matter if it was this or whatever. I think your kind of spirit and your heart leads you to do those things.
Well, thank you.
Because I remember from back in the Fight For It days.
Yeah. Yes.
Hydroencephalitis.
Yes.
I did.
Very close.
Hydroencephaly?
Yes.
See?
I think it's Hydra.
I don't know.
Anyway,
but you've always had passionate causes. And I also love the fact that you just keep. It's easy for me to say from the outside, oh, well, I love that your light hasn't been dimmed. I'm sure it's gone dim a few times.
So, yeah.
That's human nature, right? But
yeah, weird anxiety things that hit on, and doubt, like, imposter syndrome's
all the
a
time.
big one. And, I live by fake it till you make it. So, at some point you're like, I'm going to have to come clean and tell these people I'm not a real filmmaker. And then, before you know it, you're like, wow, I guess I am a real filmmaker.
Yeah, man. And I know social media is the worst at, like, it's just your highlight reel and everything. But even you guys have gone to film festivals.
Right.
And there's some opportunities opening up in a major way, perhaps.
Yep. Hopefully.
And that could really launch you. First of all, I hope you don't forget the little people.
Oh, I won't. And it means a lot that I get to be your beacon of light. I really like that terminology you used.
Okay. I now regret everything.
No, you don't. You said we got it recorded.
Yeah, it's notarize it, stamp it.
That's
it's
right.
real. But
no, and likewise, I feel the same way. You know, you've been an inspiration, and a lot of guys have really looked to you. Like you said, people calling you whenever they're in a dark place to get some advice. You know, you should be proud of that. That's, you know, not. It's almost it's a terrible thing because you went through this awful deal, and now you're the guy that gets called when other people are going through a tough deal. But you know, that speaks volumes of being able to be approachable and a safe place. You know, and men are so terrible about I was talking to Kelly Carden, and his whole thing, he's like, men will start a podcast before they go to therapy. You know,
absolutely.
we'll just have this
exactly.
open up time. But
well, and you're right, and thank you for that. It's the people that have called me that we both know would shock you. I will never violate that confidence.
No, yes.
Bawling. People would shock you. And it's because they feel alone. And I think between social media and between expectations and just growing older and growing up and maturing, it feels so alone. I mean, you look at even within the fire service, to use it as an example, when you're a firefighter, when you're a rookie, like, you can't do anything right. You don't have an opinion. You blah, 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 first up, last down. But you're part of something. And then as you progress, I mean, and you're probably feeling it as a captain, it's a lonely seat.
Sure.
It can be.
Yes.
And then I think about battalions. You're truly a lone wolf.
Yeah. That job sounds awful.
Yeah. And it's much more than a glorified mailman as it was back in the day. But they have the weight of this stuff. And I think we grow older, and it's scary. The people that there's no other. I'm 51. I need to have my sugar honey iced tea together. And you talked about imposter syndrome. That is it is so real. All the time. And we say that actually, I'm in practicum now in the graduate school, which means I'm seeing clients under the direct supervision.
Sure.
But they're real clients. They're signed up at this clinic. And all of us keep saying, like, at some point they're going to have to realize, I don't know what the F I'm doing.
Sure.
And our supervisor, who's amazing, he's like, they signed up. They know what, like, they're getting sliding scale therapy from a student.
Sure.
What I want to say is, hey, the guy who can fix all this is in that room over there. Should we bring him in? Right? Because he's our supervisor. But that's how you learn, right? And you think about that first fire you went to. I mean, you were apparently a volunteer all over the place.
No. I volunteered in Rogersville for like literally a month.
Oh, that's right. You were Branson Fire Rescue.
In Branson, yes.
International Lube and Tune.
Yes. Water-based.
Yeah. But right, the confidence that, like, if you come up to a house right now that's on fire, what does that do? How do you feel when you roll? Have you rolled in first due?
Yeah.
As a lieutenant or captain?
Yes.
How does that feel?
It's exciting. I don't know. You mean like overwhelming? Am I scared?
No, just what goes through your mind?
All the stuff, all your assignments you got to make,
Mm-hmm.
what your guys are doing, making sure they're doing the right thing. You know, you have a stampede of other apparatus, just coming at you fast.
Which is a pressure.
Oh yeah, yep. So
you can hear them.
Yep, they're coming, and you got to deal out all the right assignments in the right order, and then at the same time, you got to manage what's actually happening with the fire.
Right. But do you feel confident in those abilities when you get there?
Yeah. Pretty good. I mean, for the most part, I'd say my confidence goes down the longer I'm on the south side.
Yeah,
but
there's something about that.
Yes, very confident, for the most part. Not that I can't make mistakes. Obviously we all make mistakes at routine things, but bread and butter house fire is not as intimidating as when the first time I did it. Yeah,
exactly. And that was like when I decided it was time. That's when I knew it. Yes, it was a triple fatality, quadruple, and but it was a bread and butter house fire. But I got overwhelmed by it. And I think the reason I ask you that is because, as a filmmaker now, when I talk to Jeff today, he's probably way more than the first time you're like, hey, let's do this.
Right.
And so I think that's part of our growth process. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be like, I don't know what I'm doing with these clients, or I don't know what I'm doing in this chapter. And there's an excitement to that. Rather than being kind of down on myself and it's like, I suck at this, I should have no business. I sometimes have to remind myself, I'm a 51-year-old dude in a radio station working with young people who've done this all their lives. Like, well, yeah, you just got to do a mix down in, Adobe Audition. You clearly, know how to make sure to normalize this and the valence. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can hit, and so
I forgot my password.
yeah, exactly. You have no idea. And I lean a lot on, I'm old, I forget things, but I think it's also important as we get older that you got to try to keep sharp in some ways. And if we can find those ways to do that and still help people, I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of sticking on the dreamer's journey theme, what would you say to someone that maybe is contemplating, taking the leap of faith? They have a goal they're going after. Maybe they want to start something or open a restaurant or, explore whatever that may be. There's so much negativity that creeps in, and people are going to just rain on that parade as hard as they can. They're going to, well, did you think about this cause? Well, did you think about this? Well, you have a family, like what would your advice be to someone that's looking to, at 51 years old, get into a whole new field?
Yeah. My buddy that owns the restaurant Early Bird in town, he says he hates telling people he's the owner when he's there. Because as soon as people figure out here's what you need to do. All right, you need to, right? And it's, he's like, well, okay. I mean, we always need to be open to ideas. But I had somebody say, I used to try to get people's billboard phrase on my podcast a long time ago, so I don't want to take credit for this. And the guy's name was Ian. He worked at Hertz forever. He was like their head baker. And he struck out on his own, and he made a cider company, St. Fox Cider. And I asked him, what's the one message you would get out to the world? And he said, live on the dangerous edge of hope.
Ooh.
And that one has stuck with me because, man, that's, if you surf, that's like that first, boy, when you can feel that inside rail hitting the water, or, you open up the roof on a truck company and all of a sudden the smoke dumps out, or you watch your guys and gals kick open that door and all of a sudden it goes from, black smoke to steam.
Right.
That is that rush. Like, I'm getting chills thinking about that. And I would say to people, obviously make sure whatever radical looks like to you, that's really between you and the people in your life. So when you told me about a former coworker who's made a huge move, right?
Right.
Well, I can sit over here and be like, that's insane. But that made sense to him. Mm-hmm. And I would never poo-poo that, right? And so don't worry about it. People are going
How'd
to...
that taste? And poo-poo.
Poo-poo, yes. Well, I'm trying to use my nice language.
Oh, thanks.
But it doesn't matter what you try. There's somebody that's going to want to dump on you, right? And I still do this every day. I say I'm a recovering people pleaser, right?
Okay.
I've got to do what's right for my heart and soul, not for... And I spent a lot of years... quick example. Joey Doza from the fire service.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yes.
Beautiful Joe.
Yes. Handsome man.
Handsome man. A fighter, an MMA fighter.
Yep.
Nicest guy you've ever met. Wouldn't say poo-poo with a mouthful of it, right?
Sure.
Very level-headed. And I remember throughout my career, man, I got to be more like Joey. Like he's always nice. Everyone loves Joey. Joey's cool.
Yeah.
And then I had another firefighter say, you're kind of a polarizing guy. Either guys people really like you or they just don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of years wasted hoping that others would find me more palatable or more like Joey. Wasted. And the moment I stepped into my own authenticity, I'm not saying it doesn't still happen. Man, I sleep a lot better because it doesn't matter. I will probably never see Joey again. People that were haters in the fire service about me doing X, Y, or Z, I've never seen them.
Sure.
They're living their life.
Right.
What do I want to write down? Man, I sure hope so-and-so,
Yeah, you're letting it steal that hope you're talking about for no reason.
So take that chance. I told my kids that all the time. Find what you're passionate about, especially the way everything's changing right now. I mean, I've had to have a real mindset shift. I went from the generation of you, high school, college, to one company, work for it the rest of your life, but everything shifts around so much. So why limit yourself? I mean, again, make sure you pay your bills. Right. Always have the thing that pays the bills. But don't be afraid because failure is not in whether you make money, this, that, or the other. How's your heart feeling? And I loved my excavating company. And as soon as I stopped liking it, we sold everything. The radio station is fantastic. And I'm grateful to be in a position. It's not what pays all my bills. But the day they tell me, like, hey, this isn't working out, I'm going to be like, all right, well, that was fun.
Yeah. We had a good run.
We had a good run. And look at what it's led to. Now I get to be on a national webcast.
Right.
Pretty cool. So I would just encourage people to, and I think people want to, yes, plenty of people that want to rain on your parade, but people in your world want to see you succeed. I think if you sat them down and said, okay, if your negativity is coming from your own insecurities, do you want to see Jeff succeed and become the next Ken Burns? Or, yeah, dude, of course I do. If that's what you want.
Right.
I don't want that for you. I want what makes your heart happy.
Sure.
So in the end, that's what counts.
Nice. That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
I like it. I like, I especially like, comparing yourself to Joey, or like trying to have that goal. And once you aligned with yourself and just started living your authentic life, that's where you found peace and happiness. And
I guarantee you, if I asked you right now, Jeff Weeks, what do people think about me on the fire department? And you ask me, our answers would be 180 degrees opposite. I still exist under this notion that, everyone probably hates me here. You know what I mean? It's to my own detriment. It's something I work on. It's like, if you do, you do, right? But it's so nice to see old friends like you and stuff like that and recognize Dave Allday, my former engineer. Yeah. I saw them zipping up and down Sunshine twice. I said, sure look good behind the wheel there. I miss riding with you. And he said, yeah, I really miss our time together and stuff like that, which I wouldn't have thought he felt that way because we couldn't be more opposite. But I loved working with Allday.
Sure.
And apparently we had much more of a positive impact on each other's lives than I would have guessed.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
no, I love that. Kaylee and I went in September to a mental health conference, retreat,
nice.
whatever you would call it. And the lady that put it on, brilliant lady, happens to be Kaylee's Aunt Jenny, but she has talked with us a lot in the past, but also at this retreat, she just kept saying, it is faith focused, but you were beautifully and wonderfully made, and that wasn't a mistake. And so that's just a different way of, saying, be yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you were made. You weren't made to be a Joey Doza. You're made to be Uli.
Yeah.
And
the fact that we get to exist is a miracle, right? No matter how you feel about it.
Absolutely.
We beat out all those other dumb sperms.
That's right.
And we got here, and you see some people, you're like, how did you win that race? But yeah, we get this opportunity. I mean, your wife is a fantastic person. And I love that, you guys have found each other, for whether it's through, the grace of God or however we choose to see that. I think I think when we are ourselves, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. That's just sort of a hang up. I'm trying to find like the right words for it, but it's like, I have never slept better and as a single person with cats. But man, I can't tell you how many years I spent just like nervous, wondering. Sleep came hard to me. I was always upset. And now I'm grateful for the people that enter my life. And I've also learned that there are seasons for everything. And I think if we take that approach and don't be like, well, for some folks, reinstating on the fire department has been the best thing for them. But I also see some folks that do it because they don't know who else to be.
Sure.
But that was a season of my life,
Yes.
And this is a season, and it's like you. And I think life is too rich to just pigeonhole it into one,
right.
I did this. But if that works for you, again, not a judgment call. Like if you take satisfaction in, being a valet and that brings your heart happiness, do that. But I'm just somebody that likes, this world's it's like a buffet, man. I'm not just going to go with the fried chicken. Right.
Well, not just careers and things to do, but places to go.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just started exploring Europe, and
that's so cool.
How amazing, and
yeah, I checked out Diggins and Nixa, which is about 10, 15 miles out. Nice. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you should. I hear Clever's nice this time of year.
Can't go. That's Chris Gardner territory. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My passport to come out to Rogersville was enough. So anyway.
All right. Well, we're nearing down towards an hour here.
Yeah.
So Uli, thanks for chatting. Thanks for coming on my beginning stages of the podcast and
Honored to be a part of it, man.
let me get some chops and some interviewing practice. And
Yeah, I hope I didn't run my mouth too much.
no, I think this was great. I had a great time. I did forget to acknowledge the sponsors that we have on the show.
Oh, excellent.
So if you don't mind if I take
Please
a minute.
do. Yes.
All right, we're good. Thank you. That was it. They aren't sponsors. It's a joke.
Oh, I was like, man, you've already got sponsors.
No, I don't.
So you know what we've been doing on our on the webcast? I find just something, and I'm like, tonight's sponsor, string cheese.
Nice.
Like, But what we did, here's a little free nugget for you that I'm looking at doing. I'm doing single show sponsorships.
Okay.
So rather than like committing to, like billiards sports bar here in town, pool. He sponsors shows for X amount per show.
Okay.
And then we give him a link. He comes on for about 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, thanks. All right. He's really into Missouri State sports. For him, that's an easy check to stroke and he doesn't have to commit.
Right.
And so if it's not string cheese, it's Richard from Billiards.
Nice. I love it.
All right, man. Thank you very much for having me.
No, thank you. We'll do this hopefully more often. I'd love to reconvene in the future and see where the journey's going. And that, as part of the documentary guy, like I love that, we're getting to freeze time here. We get this conversation is going to live on, and then we can compare it to the next conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe your webcast has exploded and you're traveling the world and we have to do this remotely because you're in Dubai skiing.
Yeah, that's on the agenda. Let me ask you to wrap it up.
I don't know what that means.
As a documentarian, what are your top 3 documentaries of all time that you enjoy?
Oh man, I don't want to do this. Top 3.
Top 5?
No, I don't even. Let me see. I'll give you a new one. New one that I really liked.
Yeah.
The freshest one on my mind.
Absolutely.
Maybe not my favorite, but it was just well done. It's the Real and Glorious Bastards.
Oh, okay.
It's on Amazon Prime, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's the true story of the Jews that went behind enemy lines, and it has them being interviewed and telling old stories, and it's kind of docudrama through part of it.
Right.
But it's good. It's about 50 minutes, and I mean their story is. You watch like the first 10 minutes, and you're like, "Golly, that's what men are." Like, God, what have we become? Not that I'm.
Well, you're a strapping, handsome man. If you get the call, I'm sure you could.
I don't know.
All right, so that's one to check out.
All right, yes, I think that's what it's called, the Real and Glorious Bastards.
Well, thanks. Now I know what I'm doing tonight.
There you go. Wow. Let me know what you think. Thanks, boss.
See ya.
I hope this conversation with Uli was inspiring for you. I know it has been for me. Just a side note is that after we had this conversation, Uli contacted me and just let me know that he was kind of struggling with some stuff. That the podcast itself had kind of unrattled some things that needed to be processed, and he goes into that a lot more in his show called The Chaos Show. And you can find that on Facebook or on YouTube. But I encourage you to go over there and check it out. He is very vulnerable with feelings and emotions and the things that he's processing. So thank you, Uli, for doing that. I think it's a great example for all of us that we need to process some. Also, everybody that came out to our screening of Sons last Tuesday, I appreciate you so much. It really meant a lot. The film was well received. The questions were... Everyone was very interested in the film, and it just means a lot to have so many friends and family come out to watch something that we've created and then spread awareness about the war on Ukraine. So it's also Thanksgiving week, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. I hope that whether you're listening to this before or after Thanksgiving, it will be a good day or was a good day, or So again, thanks so much for watching or listening. If you could like or subscribe or do a comment, that definitely helps the algorithm pick up a little more, and for all of our sponsors out there. So they would appreciate it if more people would tune in. But I appreciate the people that do tune in. We don't really need more people. We have each other. All right, I'll stop rambling. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next week.